Hello, welcome back to LiveENODING. In this episode, we're gonna take a look at another simple deformations quick setup. So it's quite simple to create, but I think it's really powerful. The one that we're gonna look at is simple deformations and bend. So bend, of course, by default, it's gonna do some kind of bending of surface. We don't know which direction yet, but I will use a simple plane. I'm gonna save this real quick. SV bend plane. So it doesn't sound like so exciting, but you will see real soon that this is actually quite powerful. So this surface, you can see if we bend it, it's gonna do the bending in that direction. If we keep going with it, okay, there's some kind of pivot somewhere. So if we bend it that way, so it's gonna overlap. This way it's kind of more interesting because we can kind of grow it that way. And it's gonna create some kind of ring. So that's the whole idea. So we're not gonna create a ring. We're gonna kind of bend it this way. It's kind of like creating almost like a cylinder. But even with this simple idea, we can actually make quite an interesting result. Okay, with the angle, again we are using radian. If we are using radian, we can use math and multiply with a number. Plug this into the angle, so we can have a perfect circle if we are using 2 pi. Okay, so that's the idea here. But what else can we do from here? Plane is not that interesting, but if you are using like something like hexagrid, for example, by default hexagrid is flat like that, so we need to kind of rotate the hexagrid first of all. We need to rotate it in a way that's more vertical. So let's use rewire and make it, I think it's yep, that's the one. Actually it's more like Z to Y. Okay, so let's give a different color. We can keep that plane over there, we can just hide it. Let's use the simple bend with the pi selected. So this guy we already rotated, so we just plug this there and there. So apparently we can easily kind of tile this hexagon pattern, and this can be really useful if you want to create like maybe like a snake kind of pattern, for example. Let's try this, bend it further. So pi, 2 times pi, if you are expecting like this will connect to each other, it's not gonna work because of the bounding box of this plane. So keep that in mind. What I mean is that if we change the pattern and we want to kind of close this, it's not gonna happen that easily because the last point will kind of connect when it's like a 2. This point is aligned, but we cannot connect them together. Anyhow, we can use our eyes and just close that. Okay, so now they're kind of close. Let's try if we bake it out. So this guy will look something like that. Is the normal correct? Maybe the normal needs to be flipped. Let me check. Back face culling. Yeah, I think the normal is going the wrong way. So maybe we need to use flip the normal here. Like that. Pretty easy. And then we can also try bake it again, and yeah, maybe we need to use mask. Okay, that seems to be better. this guy, if you use Blender for a while, you can actually kind of just duplicate that, and then if you use array modifier, you can kind of create like a snake from this guy. Looks like the normal is still wrong, but it's okay. We can just keep going. So the idea is to try to make some kind of like a snake pattern using this. Let's create an array. So you know that we can just attach this to a curve, and it's gonna be like the body of snake. We don't have the tail or the head for now, but I think this is a kind of cool idea. Let's continue with this guy. I think we need to reverse it, bake it. If we bake it, this guy is actually still not connected. If I smooth it, you can see this guy is all separated. So that's not good. It's very cool design, however. Keep that in mind. So you can have this result, but you can always go back and add or reduce the detail. So that's the radius, that's the scale. You can see, you can control the scaling. That's really cool. The angle, we don't need to change the angle, but the number of X and Y can be adjusted. For now, we just leave it like that, and we can use remove double, clean up our geometry. Maybe increase this so they are connected. If we bake it and then smooth it, now you can see it's a totally different result to this guy. So that's also pretty cool if you bake it, and you can also use like a wireframe. This is also quite interesting. You can use all this very easily. So yeah, there's some variations there. What else? Can you randomize? Maybe if you randomize, it's gonna looks a little bit more interesting also. Randomize input, randomize in X and Z a little bit more Voronoi like. So bake that. It's always so many variations you can create from just a simple setup. So this is a simple bend of a surface. What's next? You can also I'm trying to think. Don't forget, we also have a bend object along path and bend object along surface. And these two nodes sometimes can be a little bit tricky. It's sometimes you need to take care of the number of vertices and path. So I'm not gonna demonstrate it here, but if you use this, you can have the effects where a curve is bending the surface. So you can really create like a snake kind of design. If you want to continue further with this, you can use maybe extrude separate faces. Yep, I think that's the one. And this guy will give something that looks like that, it's almost like the skin of snake skin, right? Let's remove the amplitude there, so we can increase it, or we can go inside or go outside. So which one? Just go outside for now. For snake skin, perhaps you want to add a bevel, or the scale. You want to create a scale like for snake or reptile or fish. You start to get into like a pattern design. It's very interesting to study actually. It's not easy, but it's possible to just turning this guy into this guy, like a fish scale and stuff. I think I talked about it in the previous LiveNoding. I kind of need to look at it again. But yeah, you can easily extrude it out, right? And once it's extruded, you just bake it out. And then here, yeah, just try using array array, what is it? Array, that's the name of the modifier, and then use it with a curve. So this guy also does not seem to connect. We can try merging it, and then no need to use relative offset. Turn it off. Yeah, something like that. It should connect right there, and then you can grow it, and then you just use a curve, you know. And let me give a quick example. That's a grease pencil, and you use a GP, select the grease pencil, and turning this guy into curve polyline. So now we have a curve for here, and we can simply use a curve modifier with our grease pencil, and it should connect if this guy is in the right position. It's probably not in the right position, or I need to make it smaller, and maybe increase the number, change the direction. Oh, okay, maybe I need to change the directions. There you go. There's a lot of things you can do basically. Distance, curve, fit the curve, maybe. Yeah, that's kind of more interesting, right? Scale it in Z, and you can change the curve, so you can animate a snake like that. So this is like just a silly example, but you're not gonna actually animate like that. You can, of course, but it's kind of silly if you do that. I think the more correct way is that if you have like a snake, kind of procedural snake like this, you want to animate it using bones and joints. So that's probably gonna be next. So I'm gonna remove that, just bake this guy, remove the grease pencil, bake this, keep our snake, and there you go. That's just a simple bend deformations on a surface like a hexagrid. Remember that you also have brick grid, and you have all kind of ways to create like a tile or pattern that you can easily bend and it's become something else. You know, I forgot one thing. There's also this is like a really easy effects that you can create. You can just use solidify, and then you use another subdivisions, and you're gonna get some kind of rock there, you know, like I don't know. Let's see, increase this, reduce the subdivisions. There you go, that's more rounded. So that's interesting. Increase the thickness, maybe add some kind of randomizations. But there you go. From a simple setup, you can create all these variations, and this is just a couple of examples. Let me know what you can create with this. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.